Biggie, how are the predictions going?
Fuck my predictions, man. They are just did absolutely terrible this week. I don't even care anymore. It's just been terrible.
You need a Snickers.
Why?
Because you're not smart when you're hungry. Better?
Better. Now I gotta go do my predictions.
Snickers makes everything better. Hello everybody, I'm Biggie and welcome to week 2 of Big Predictions. After a week 1 where we saw a lot of teams disappoint for the way that I thought they were going to start the season. Just a handful of teams actually played well, I thought. Kansas City being one of them. The Packers played decently. Minnesota, they played pretty good. But other than that, quite a few teams disappointed this week. So going into a week 1 review, for week 1, I ended up going 9-6 on the week. I went 9-7 in the first week last year, and I ended up having a great record. So let's see if we're gonna repeat this year. Some notable games, Kansas City upsetting the Pats on their home field. I watched the first half of that game. It was quite something. Tom Brady and that offense really, after that, really not where they should be. And their defense, too. Their defense is definitely not where it needs to be. Some other notable games, the Giants putting up 3 points against the Cowboys in a 19-3 loss. Oh, boy, that offense needs some serious work to do anything. But enough with week 1. Let's go right into week 2, and we're going to start it off Thursday night with the Houston Texans at Cincinnati. Now, both of these teams did not play well at all in week 1. The Texans were blown out by Jacksonville, and the Bengals were shut out by the Baltimore Ravens. 20-0. Andy Dalton, he threw 4 picks and a fumble at 5 turnovers. That's never good for a quarterback. In Cincinnati, I think I'm going to take the Houston for this one. I still think they have a pretty more decent football team than the Bengals. And the Bengals quarterback situation, who knows what that's going to be like. So the Texans are winning. We head to the Sunday games now. First one, we have the Browns and the Ravens. Cleveland, they just barely lost to the Steelers. But then again, AFC North, division, they always play each other hard. But I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens are a better team. Next up, we have the Bears and the Buccaneers, who are opening their season this week. Of course, them in Miami, due to Hurricane Irma, had the week 1 off. So the Buccaneers are set to host in their season opener against the Bears. The Bears, they lost this past week, so I'm going to take the Bucs. I think the Bucs have a better overall team, so the Bucs are winning. Next game up, we had the Vikings and the Steelers. Both teams seem to impress this past week. It could be a decent game. It has potential to be a decent game on Pittsburgh's home field, but I'm going to ultimately take the Steelers in this one. I just think that offense is still pretty strong. The Minnesota defense looked good too, but Pittsburgh's going to do it. We head to the next one now, where we have the Patriots headed to New Orleans. Now, both teams look pretty dismal in week 1. It has potential to be, honestly, I think the Pats are going to come out of it. They're still one of the best teams in football, as much as I hate to say it. And the Saints, they're not really where they need to be at this point in the season. They haven't been where they needed to be for a few seasons now. So I'm going to take the Pats to win this one. I think it'll definitely be a turnaround from week 1. We'll head to the next one. We have the Eagles and the Chiefs both getting wins on the road this past week. The Chiefs, of course, having their home opener, and I think they're going to do it. Arrowhead Stadium, that's a hard place to play, and I think the Chiefs are going to defend their home field and beat the Eagles. We head to the next game now. We have an AFC South matchup between the Titans and the Jaguars. Jaguars look really good in week 1. The Titans, they lost kind of a close one to Oakland, but I think the Jaguars are going to take this one. Besides Blake Bortles not doing well, Jacksonville actually looked pretty good. So the Jaguars are taking it. Next up, we have the Cardinals and the Colts. Now, the Colts look absolutely dismal in week 1. Not good at all. The offense is all over the place. Defense wasn't good. So, in the Cardinals, they lost late in the game to Detroit. The Cardinals, they're close to being where they need to be. You know, as far as the talent goes, they're close. So I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. Colts, you got a long way to go. Next up, we had the Bills and the Panthers. Both teams getting wins this past week. But ultimately, I got to take the Panthers. They're at home. They look pretty good, so the Panthers are winning. Next up, we have the Jets and the Raiders. Raiders are winning. That's all I got to say. And now we have the Dolphins and the Chargers. Once again, the Dolphins opening up their season on the road after they were supposed to host the Bucs this past week, but once again, Hurricane Irma affected that. And I think I'm going to take the Chargers. You know, they played a pretty good game against Denver the other night, but I'm going to take the Chargers. They played a good game, so the Chargers are winning. Next up, we have this NFC West matchup between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Seahawks, they didn't look too well in their season opener. Their offensive line is not very good. But the 49ers, they didn't look good either. So it could... ultimately, I'm going to take the Seahawks. Of course, they're playing at home. No, the 49ers are still not that good. Seahawks are better than them. I think the Seahawks are winning. Next up, we had the Redskins at the Rams. This has potential to be a decent game. I think the Rams are going to win. You know, the Redskins, they're not looking right where they need to be at this moment, so the Rams are going to win. Next up, we have the Cowboys and the Broncos, both getting wins this past week. Of course, the Dallas is headed to Denver. So I think I'm going to take the Broncos for this one. I think the Broncos, of course, they're on their home field. The Broncos are winning. And we head to the Sunday night game now, where we have a NFC Championship rematch in Atlanta between the Packers and the Falcons. Now, the Packers, they didn't impress me that well. They didn't do as well as I thought they were going to do for week 1 on their home field. They only scored 17 points, but they did ultimately get the win. And the Falcons, they ended up beating Chicago. So I think the Falcons are going to win in their first game in the new stadium. Mercedes-Benz Stadium looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to take the Falcons to beat the Packers. The Packers are good, but I don't think their defense is well enough. And we head to the final game of week 1, the Monday night game between the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants. The Giants are opening up their home season in this game. Now, the Lions traveled to New York last year, where the Giants got the win late in the game. The Lions, they look pretty good. The Giants' defense looked good, but the offense needs a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work. They definitely showed what their non-Odell offense looks like. I mean, we have the weapons there, but we just need to utilize them a lot better. But if the Giants play like they did Sunday night against Dallas, I'm ultimately going to take the Lions. The Lions, you never know who's going to show up. So, with the Giants being at home, I'm going to take them. You know, I got to go with my team. The Giants, they're going to win this one. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for Big Predictions this week. Thank you all for watching again. Tune in next week for week 3, see how I did week 2. And until next time, guys, I'm Big E saying so long, everybody.